Hey guys, how's it going? I don't have anything really special planned today. Just kind of taking a look at some of the things I got over Christmas. Hey Adam, got my daughter got me this Camaro, new, and I unboxed it. But my other daughter had these stickers made. I got a dozen of these Mark Slot Car Garage stickers. Um, I showed you guys my daughter who had the stickers made also had this nice skirt made for me for the table that has my logo on it. And my wife got me the new OS3 HO Pro Elite wiperless controller, which I'm really starting to like a lot. I'll probably do a separate video on that controller. I also got a couple of cars that I bought off of Dan. He gave me a really good deal on two Viper chassis that he had. This is the Viper Polymod 2.5 ohm car, and this is a modified, which I have. I have four other modified. So this car is same as these other four. These are 3 ohm car. I was about to attempt to pin the rear axle on this car. This one I'm actually going to replace the chassis. I ordered a firm chassis for this because I want the body posts. This actually came with I don't know if Dan cut the body posts off, and it had a lifelike body clip on it. But I'm going to convert this to a Lexan body chassis. I also ordered independent front ends for both these cars and several different size rear tires because you know me, I got to get the car slammed down to the rails. It's not really set up for my track, though both those cars run really well. So anyway, I'm going to come over here to the workbench. Yeah, that is a nice Camaro. It runs pretty good, you know, for a Mega G Plus. Nice livery though, really nice detail on it. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. So, you guys know I had surgery on my finger, so I'm not so sure how it's going to go trying to pin this car, but I'm going to give it a shot. Even with my bandaged up finger. Oh yeah, I did pick this up, Adam. You're right. I got that last week. I just picked it up off of somebody off of eBay. Yeah, decent enough price. It's nice looking. I like it. I like the color. So to pin this rear end, because you got to pin the rear end on these Viper modifieds, and yeah, anything with a 3 ohm, or well, really even my 6 ohm cars. The when you have a pretty good crash, that rear axle really can pop out pretty easy. So if you do any kind of real racing, you got to pin the rear axle on these cars. I use my little pin vise here with a .02 bit, very tiny bit. I don't know, BS. I know that Shan RC runs some AFX cars. I've seen him do those on his bigger scale. Don't know if anybody's ever run Vipers. Oh, my finger is just killing me. Thing's throbbing, but this takes my mind off it. Oh, sorry, brother, sister Slock. That's right, that's you. Sorry, guys. I'm a little out of it today. Well, then you need to run some Vipers to test it out for us. I don't own a bigger track. Trying to, this might not be a smart idea doing this with my bandaged up finger, but I'm going to go for it. And maybe we'll run some cars. That I can do. All right. Let me give this a shot here. You really got one chance at pinning these things, drilling this hole level and straight, or at least angle it a tiny bit away from the axle, which is what I like to try and do. Just don't like when it goes in crooked. And you gotta go really slow, otherwise you will break this bit because it is super thin. Oh, there we go. We just popped through the first part. Yeah, see, I'm kind of off. You can see. Yeah, that stinks. I wonder if I could redo this and go in on an angle more on the inside. It was almost coming through the, not going quite through the meat of the plastic. It was going to drill through and kind of stick out the side. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I know it's hard to see. But that one went through pretty good. And you gotta clean up the hole there. We'll do the other side. They have Vipers with magnets that are like the downforce of normal stocked cars. Like the Pro 4 is the weakest magnet they have, which is still a pretty strong. They have gravity cars. You could do brass weights in the Vipers. I don't know if like you could do just the motor magnets with brass weight traction magnets, and the two circles in the front here, they have brass weights that clip into those two circles. So they make brass weights that fit where the traction magnets would go, and brass weights for the front. And then you could run it with just the motor magnet. And let me try and do this other side. One side is done. Yeah, I'm trying to do this leaning over my phone, looking in my magnifying mirror so you guys can kind of see it as well. So probably a recipe for disaster, really, doing it this way. I should be sitting down and paying attention to what I'm doing, but this is more for fun. This is a chassis that, like I said, I got it. I bought it used from Dan, so I'm not going to do any real serious racing with this, but I still like to, this will be used as like a house car, but I still like to pin the chassis. I mean, pin the rear axle. Let's see if we can get this through here. bit loosened up. I'm like, why is this not going through? The bit's pushing into the pin vise. I'm always afraid to tighten this thing too tight and break the bit just by over tightening it. If you guys are bored of this, I can move on to something else, but I'm really just kind of killing some time. Takes my mind off my throbbing finger, although this is probably not helping my finger, but it's supposed to be keeping it elevated. All right, let's finish this up. Dang it, this thing is still sliding into the, just not tight enough. I don't really like, I have some other bits, but they're just a little too small actually for the pins that I have. All right, I made that tighter that time. See if we can finish this. There we go. That actually looks pretty good. And we are through. That looks pretty good there. All right, success. I didn't break the bit. Yes, you do, Adam. Get that track wiring going. Oh yeah, Mike. An entry-level Viper far exceeds pretty much any stock HO car that's out there. Really, it's not even. There's not even a comparison. I mean, even a stock V-spec Viper is, you know, way more downforce and speed than pretty much any other car. And these cars, you know, when you get up into, this is a 3-ohm modified. I'll show you on the dyno how these things run. And remember, I did that other video. I don't know if you guys watched that other video I did where I was trying to check out the car my buddy bought used that was supposed to be a Viper Polymod. And when I say Polymod, Viper actually sells a Polymod branded car. That's a specific spec. This is how his car, if it was a Polymod, it should have run. This thing is up well over 4, getting close to over 4.5. That's what I would expect a 2.5 ohm car Viper to run at. And even this 3 ohm Viper modified, that's also well over, running well over 4. That's almost close to the 2.5 ohm car. And just for comparison, this is a 6 ohm stock V-spec. So still up in the threes. Yeah, this lower setting here, I usually turn the supply voltage down to about 8. VRP recommends putting in like 8, 9 volts when you're running it in the break-in mode, but it applies 5 volts in this. When the switch is down in the lower setting, I break in all my cars at 5 volts for, depending on the car, 30 minutes to an hour. I'll let it run. You take the rear axle out and you just let the brushes break in without the rear axle in the car. But it makes it easier to take the car off of the dyno when it's in that lower setting. They sound they sound like vacuum cleaners, right? They are pretty loud. So back to pinning this chassis here. I don't know with my hand the way it is if I'll really be able to get the pins in. I use a brass pin from Viper that they say the .20 drill bit is supposed to be good, but it's pretty hard to get the pin in. I kind of have to ream this thing in and out a couple of times to make it a little bit wider. But these are the little axle pins. Can't get it to focus. I'll just take a couple out. Try and put one in. Yeah, that 3 ohm dyno is nice, but I didn't feel like spending the extra money on it. So, for my purposes, the 2 ohm one takes care of what I really need it for. Not that I wouldn't like to have one of the 3.0 ones. I really should taper these. Put like a little point on these pins. It'll make it go in much better. Yeah, this is just, it's going to be a little too hard for me to get these pins in with my hand the way it is. So I'll save that for another day, but at least I have it. At least I have it drilled out. Oh, I also got in the mail, I don't know if you guys were following the Ghost Cat chassis build that I did. I'm definitely not going to be up to doing this right now, but I did order another bulkhead, front bulkhead for the Ghost Cat with the newer caps that he has. My car has these 3D printed orange ones, but RPM Roger came out with these better produced the spring caps. They go off and on easier onto this post. And I also ordered some more springs so I can replace that one spring that I kind of bent when I was building this car. I can get this cap off. But you can kind of see what these springs look like. I don't know if you can see that, but those are what wrap around that post, and one end goes up against the brush and the other one goes up against that post in the bulkhead. Kind of a pain. But similar to the, well, it's exactly like the hood system that Wizard Fusion uses on some of their Fusion cars. I kind of prefer the N-bell type system on the Viper, and also Wizard has an N-bell on their Fusions as well. But so I've just bought some extra parts for the Ghost Cat, some pickup shoes and pickup shoe springs, chassis. I do like that the chassis comes pre-drilled and has pins that are a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to put in and out of the chassis. So, but this car still not really, I mean, you can see it's, my other cars were hitting a one with the low setting. So this is, well, not too bad actually. It's getting there. The more this car breaks in, the better the dyno numbers are. It's actually running pretty good. I've been doing some more laps with it, so it's slowly breaking in, but talking to other chassis builders, they told me that these Ghost Cat cars take a good 4 hours of breaking in before they really reach their peak, so I haven't come anywhere near that on the one I have. But I don't know. I'm not really convinced that the Ghost Cat offers anything more than a Fusion does. So we'll see. Hey Rich, how's it going? Yeah, it is. It's definitely a racing chassis. It's really designed for Hopra. This is a spec racer kit that I bought. Um, from what I understand, the motor magnets are actually the same as like a Viper or BSRT, and the traction magnets you can use from a Fusion. So from what I heard talking to some other builders, the preferred method is using a particular, I have it written down, motor magnet from BSRT, and using the traction magnets from a spec racer Fusion. Seems to give you a better combination of motor and traction magnet downforce than what comes stock with this car. So I might play around with that, but this car is not quite where my Viper or Fusions are speed-wise or time-wise around my track yet, but it is getting close. I don't know if I'll ever run it in at any competitive races. You know, my Fusions right now are my go-to cars. Actually looking forward to the race coming up later in January. I've been working on the cars that I'm going to run in that race. I have my Wizard Fusion Spec Racer. This car kicks butt. This is running the N-bell system on this particular Wizard. I bought used a ceramic super stock Fusion, Wizard Fusion with the Silly Sponge tires. This is running the hood system. This car runs really good, so I'm looking forward to running this car on race day. I got a new body for it, this kind of steampunk look with the gears. I think this is a pretty cool looking body. It's a shame I'm going to be smashing it up, but that's racing. What else? I built this car for a class that's called Spec Stock Racer. So it's a stock Viper. So the Spec Racer and Fusion have hot stock 5.8 ohm armatures. This class has to use a stock arm, non-balanced, pretty much the stock 6 ohm armature that comes in a V-Spec. So this is basically, I took all my V-Specs and picked the fastest running one on my dyno, and I turned it into this Spec Stock Racer class car. And you're supposed to run a GT40 hard body. So this is the body I'm going to run on this car. I've got it tuned pretty good. It's got an independent front end. I forget the size of these tires. I think they're .434s or .432s and .340 front end. So pretty good running car. Those are the 3 cars I have built. The other classes are IROC cars that they provide, and then a box stock class. I'm still struggling to find a good box stock car that I'm going to run on that day. So I may or may not run in the box stock class, but the race is on January 20th, so I have a little time to decide if I'm going to run in the box stock. But yeah, the Spec Racer and Ceramic Super Stock are my 2 favorite classes to race. I've done pretty well in my last couple of races with these cars. And with this car, I actually placed 3rd. I actually had my first podium finish with this Spec Stock class car. So that was fun. But yeah, that's basically what I got going on here. Yeah, I mean, the box stock technically is broken up into 2 categories. Can motor, so Mega G Plus, they actually consider like the Tommy Turbo SRT as a can motor. And then they have the inline class, which is like Super G Plus, Lifelike M car for the inline, and the T car for a can motor class. So you could pick any of those cars to run in box stock and run whatever body you want on it. But the last time I tried running a Tommy Turbo SRT, actually, where is that car? I was running this car with the Neo magnets, the Tommy Turbo SRT with this Nissan. And it started off good, but then it kind of failed on me midway through the race. I don't know what happened, but it stopped making good contact with the rails. And one of the lane marshal guys kept pushing my car for me whenever it stopped. So it was pretty bad. So I don't know. I try to put that one out of my mind. Yeah, those SRTs, they do run good. They're pretty quick. They do let you replace. I thought you were only allowed to replace the tires on the box stock, but they let you replace the rear tire and rear hub. So you could put a dual flanged hub with as low a tire as you want. And I didn't know that. And guys had their box stock cars slammed pretty far down to the rails and were handling way better. They can go faster and stay on the track way better than my stock SRT. So I learned a lesson that day. You know, Stephen, I don't know for sure the crown gear on the SRT. Unfortunately, they don't label it. I'd have to actually count the teeth on this gear to see if it was a 22 tooth gear. I think it's more than 22 tooth, to be honest with you. But I'd have to put some markings on here so I could actually count how many teeth are on this. But I think this is the same gear that's in the Super G Plus car, actually, the same rear end. I won't swear to that though. Oh, and I also got for Christmas, my other daughter got me a second display case, which I put up. So now I have a little bit extra room to put some more cars, but this case was pretty full. Not that I have a lot of cars, but nice to have the second case. Yeah, the Tommy Turbo SRT, not the regular Tommy Turbo, but the SRT, those ran really good. The Tommy Turbos were a little bit slower. The Tommy Turbos had that magnet bar compared to the Neo magnets that were in the SRT. The SRT also had the same armature that was in the Super G Plus, so it has a little bit better, hotter armature, if I remember correctly. You know. Was it a smaller gear? Now you got me curious. I'm gonna have to count the gears. Yeah, it's definitely a different gear. You're right. It is a different gear. I don't know the number of teeth on the gear though, but I will check that out. Yeah, that my Tommy turbos, they run okay, but you gotta slow them down to keep them on the track. When you're used to running Vipers and Fusions, everything else is becomes a challenge when you move away from those cars. So what do you guys think? Should I run some cars? I think that's all oh, you know what else I was doing? Um, Unfortunately, I can't do that. But my buddy Rick, who was here, he left me a couple of his cars. He's going to be at the next race with me. This is his spec racer car. I tuned this up for him the other day before I had surgery on my finger, so I broke this completely down, cleaned the armature. This one I'm going to be upgrading for him to be in the spec stock class car, so I'm going to be putting an independent front end on this, lowering the front end, going to be putting some albino lower tires, the max traction Viper magnets, lower profile pickup shoes and give it a good cleaning. So we'll get that car. Hopefully I don't tune it up so good that he actually beats me at that race, because I wouldn't appreciate that. But yeah, 725 gear. That's what I thought. 25 tooth sounds right, Mike. Oh, no, I didn't do anything. This was a planned procedure. I have pretty bad arthritis. You could see it in this middle finger, the lumps that I have there. This one's heading the same way, but this finger just had really painful. It got to the point where there was no cartilage left. It was bone on that finger. So my only option, I tried the shots, which didn't really help. So my doctor was like, fusing. So I had the joint fused. They basically doing like a Z-type incision, clear out whatever remaining cartilage is there, and then they drill a hole through your finger and they put a screw in to fuse the top and middle joint. So my finger will have a permanent tiny little bend to it. But yeah, getting old sucks, and I'm not even really that old, but I inherited the arthritis from my mom. We'll see if I could run some cars with my hand the way it is. I can try and loosen this thing. I guess there's no way to zoom in once you're live with this thing, huh? I can't change the camera. Does it let you? No, I don't think so. I guess that's gonna have to be the angle you guys get. Hopefully that's good enough. No, that's not good. Let's put this up a little higher. Ah, come on. Stupid thing. My stand is not behaving. Sorry, guys. It's hard to do with my busted up finger. It's not what I want. I guess that'll. No, I don't really like to cut off the. Is this all the way up? Yeah, that's all the way up. Maybe that'll work. See you, Steve. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Southern Slot is in the house. All right, let me put some of these cars back together. gonna start off with the Ghost Cat. See how we do with this. I'm gonna use my new controller on the Blue Lane. One of the cool features about this OS3 controller is it has a coast feature. Oh, it would help if I apply power to the track. Hold on a second. Ooh. Yeah, you can see, look, the coast is already kicking in. The car's going by itself. So basically with the coast, you could come off on the turns and kind of let the car coast around the turns. I like it a little better than trying to do braking around the turns with these higher downforce cars. But you can see this Ghost Cat just doesn't have the punch that my Vipers and Fusions have. I mean, I'm not even under 3 seconds with this car. 301. Hey, William. So I'm gonna run my Viper Spec Racer. These are my Viper and Fusion Spec Racers. Seconds, we're already under 3 seconds. .74. 2.6. So that's a good running car, that Viper Spec Racer. This is my Fusion. This is a good running car too. Fusion just handles a little bit better for me. Although I just crashed with it. That was a 2.7 second. Yeah, right, William, you can see the difference between the Fusion and Viper. Just have that punch coming down the straightaway, where the Ghost Cat just does not have the top end power that, and I think it's because of the way I built it. I didn't really, I had some issues with it. I bent one of the springs, so I'm looking forward to rebuilding it and see how it runs. I know they're capable because I know guys are racing them, so. That's a 260. I'm almost down into the 2.5s with a hot stock 6 ohms. That's pretty good time. And by comparison, where did I put that? we'll run a Mega G Plus. This is stock out of the package, Mega G Plus car. Let's see what kind of times I can get with it. 4.5 seconds. Ooh. And we're crashing. Oh boy. Another 4.3. 4.2. I have some Mega G Pluses that I've put better rear ends in and the level 42 magnets, and I can get those down into the like mid threes, probably a good second faster than stock out of the package. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the car that I got from Dan. Trying to get these dang pins in. So this is a 3-ohm Viper. This is one of the cars I got from Dan. .6 seconds. So. Goes to show you how impressive the Spec Racer hot stock built cars are, because this is a 3-ohm armature Pro 10 magnet car. It's doing about the same time as my 6-ohm Spec Racer hot stock car. I can't keep this thing on the track. Dirty. Gotta clean these tires. But you can see how this car, you can see how this stock Viper modified with the black, softer, fatter tires just doesn't really handle as well on my routed track. Compared to the way that I have my cars set up with the lower profile, firmer tire and independent front end. Same magnet package, same armature. You can see the difference in handling. Did a 2.44 second lap, so that goes to show you how lowering the car and putting an independent front end makes a big difference. Oh, hey, Dan, I was just running one of your cars. I have some plans for your cars, Dan. Yeah, the albino stiffer tires just run so much nicer on this routed track than the black medium compound. It has a whole different sound, like you said. It sounds so much smoother. This is my 2-ohm car that I recently rebuilt. This is a level 35 Neo car. I actually broke under 2 seconds for the first time last week. Oh, 2.0, 2.0, we were close. This car is ridiculously fast. This is my ceramic super stock car, the Fusion with the silly sponge tires. This thing is really smooth. This is a nice, really nice running car. Very quiet. Two point 6 seconds. Nope. 2.48 that lap. That was a good lap. Yeah, those silly sponge tires do have a different sound. No, you've mentioned that before, doing the level 4 traction and level 10 motor magnet combo with the 3-ohm arm. I haven't tried that, but I will have to. That's easy enough to do. I could pop the traction magnets out and try that on one of my 3-ohm cars. Actually, hold on. I'll set one up right now. Give me a second. I'm going to use this blue car. I'll run some laps with it. This is the Pro 10 package with motor and traction. And then we'll see how it runs with the little bit weaker traction magnets. Alright, so I'm hitting 2.4, 2.5 seconds with this car. Yeah. Oh, you want me to put, oh, I see, that probably makes sense, having the, well, I'll use Dan's car. Dan has the M1 tires, what did I do with it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. So you're saying, what do you like about the, seems like it might be a little more challenging to drive, obviously, with the weaker traction magnets. right, so I have the Pro 10 motor and Pro 4 traction with the 3 ohm medium compound tires. I'll give this a go. Let's see what it does. Put this body on it. Give me a second. I'm curious to see what the downforce is. So a Pro 10 car, it's about 190, 191 with the Pro 10. Let's see what this car is sitting at. Yeah, significantly less, 127. Should be interesting. Similar downforce to a Pro 4 car. Whoa! That is going to take a little getting used to on my end. Having that powerful of a motor with a Pro 4 traction magnets. Oh, that's definitely a challenge. Oh, long lane. I can see running this more on like an AFX, like a plastic track, than my routed track here. I feel like I can't really push the car like I would like to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Looking forward to talking chassis and motors and all that fun stuff. I wish my hand wasn't in the shape it was in, or I'd do some demos of a couple of things, but I'll manage. Yeah, I definitely, it's definitely a challenge, CLN. But yeah, you get used to it and it is fun. I got cars apart all over the place now. I gotta put all my cars back together. Yeah, let's go back over here. I'm gonna have to give my hand a break. I think I'm overdoing it a little bit with my finger starting to throb like crazy. I'm supposed to be keeping it elevated. I'm probably a bad patient. Let's see. I don't even remember what is what here now. This is my modified. This is one of my 6-ohm V specs. I have to put all that back together. Yeah, I'm not flipping you off, Kenny. Although, yes, it does make for an imposing finger. Don't mess with me. I know I shared with some of you guys my journey with prostate cancer, and I had some good news on that front that some of you guys know, but I'm starting my first radiation treatment tomorrow, and hopefully by the end of these 5 treatments, I will be cancer free again. So kind of excited there. It's been over a year trying to find where this cancer, of dealing with a reoccurrence of my prostate cancer from a surgery I had in 2019 to have my prostate removed. So scary but exciting all at the same time to hopefully be done with this. Been dealing with it for years. Yep, I'm happy about it, Dan. So try and put it behind me and move on. Thanks, guys. I think it will. I got the outcome we were hoping for with this most recent scan. Kept coming back negative, which you would think is a good thing, but when you're actually trying to find where it is to get rid of it, you actually want the scan to find something, and it took about a year on my 3rd scan for it to actually find a little spot on my left hip bone. So it's in a good spot. It's very treatable. So, trying to be positive. All right, guys, I'm going to clean up my mess here and get my hand elevated and rest up so I could be on tomorrow with Dan, and we'll talk chassis and motors and anything else. Good luck with that too, CLN. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off for now. Appreciate everybody popping in and joining me on my birthday here. I might go live again tonight because depending on how I feel, my girls and my wife and I might have some other people over for my birthday. We're gonna do some actual racing tonight, so maybe I'll start up another live stream tonight. All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk with you soon. If I don't go on tonight, then I'll talk with you guys tomorrow night on Dan's show. Later, guys.